Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the digital architecture that quietly powers the world's most successful enterprises. We're talking about the invisible engine of e-commerce, modern payment security. Over the next few minutes, we're going to unpack how shifting to AI-powered automated solutions isn't just about, checking off compliance boxes anymore. It's really about fueling massive business growth and delivering a premium, entirely seamless digital experience. So let me ask you a question that frankly keeps a lot of executives up at night. If your store faced a massive unexpected wave of traffic tomorrow, or worse, a targeted data breach, would your infrastructure actually hold up? Would you have the automated alerts in place to pinpoint the exact failure, or would you just be completely in the dark? Because for way too many businesses right now, their payment architecture is basically a black box. And that's the real danger here. Payment security is completely invisible, right up until the exact moment it's an emergency. And scrambling to Google PCI compliance while your payment processor puts a freeze on your merchant account? Yeah, that is a reactive nightmare we absolutely want to avoid. In a modern enterprise environment, relying on reactive measures is just fundamentally incompatible with scaling. You simply cannot build a reliable, future-focused brand on a brittle foundation. All right, Section 1, the modern security chain. Let's take a look at proactive protection. You see, a truly secure payment system isn't just one single product you plug in and forget about. It's actually an interconnected chain of high-tech protections where data is scrambled, swapped, verified, and scored in literally milliseconds. Think of it like this. When a customer clicks buy, their data enters this incredibly fast, futuristic pipeline. First, encryption acts as a secure tunnel across the internet. Then, tokenization swaps out the data. Next, 3D Secure 2 steps in with an invisible layer of biometric or behavioral identity checking. And finally, AI fraud scoring analyzes the whole transaction in real time. It's this beautiful symphony of automated interfaces working flawlessly together. Let's zoom in on tokenization for a second, because what really blew my mind when digging into this is how it actually works. Unlike reversible encryption, which, a hacker can technically still unlock if they get their hands on the right digital key, a token has absolutely zero mathematical link back to the original data. By swapping the real credit card number for a completely meaningless string of characters the very instant it's submitted, it ensures your own servers never even touch the sensitive data. It makes the transaction nearly impossible to exploit, which drastically shrinks your overall risk surface. And practically speaking, this right here is the difference between losing a sale and sealing the deal. Clunky, old pop-ups and unhosted forms create this maze of friction that actively drives customers away. Think about the last time you bought something online. Did you have to manually type in 16 digits, hunt down your expiration date, and then get hit with some highly suspicious-looking window asking for another password? That's a legacy workflow. Modern digital experiences are all about removing that friction entirely. With fast, tokenized wallets, a customer just double-clicks their side button, Face ID scans, and boom, the transaction is done. Which brings us to Section 2, security as a growth engine. Let's move beyond viewing this as just an IT headache. Because mastering this tech stack, it directly fuels your bottom line. It's invisible tech with a highly visible impact across 4 vital areas. First, your conversion rates completely rely on smooth interfaces. Second, your processor standing relies on strict compliance. Third, your profit margins are dictated by fraud exposure because chargebacks carry some seriously hefty penalty fees. And ultimately, your brand reputation is on the line. Customers might forget your latest marketing campaign, for sure, but they will never, ever forget the company that leaked their credit card details. So let's talk about the intelligence layer. Instead of blindly trusting a single rigid signal, like, say, a CVV mismatch that blocks a perfectly good customer just because they made a simple typo, modern AI steps in. It operates so quietly in the background, evaluating dozens of signals simultaneously. It's looking at the device fingerprint, geolocation, browsing velocity, and historical buying patterns. It's sophisticated, it's automated, and it is incredibly precise. It ensures your good customers sail right through, while the threats are neutralized instantly. Okay, moving on to Section 3, practical steps to scale. Let's talk about architecting the future. Consider this your baseline blueprint for digital transformation. The absolute fastest way to cut your compliance burden is moving to a hosted checkout, using enterprise partners like Stripe or Adyen, so that sensitive data bypasses your servers entirely. Honestly, if you aren't storing the data, you can't lose the data. But it doesn't stop there. You need to ensure tokenization covers recurring subscriptions too, not just one-time purchases. You've got to upgrade to 3D Secure 2 for frictionless authentication, implement those layered AI fraud checks we just discussed, and absolutely lock down your own internal access with multi-factor authentication. Now take a look at this number, 4.0.1. This represents a massive paradigm shift in the industry. As of 2026, PCI DSS 4.0.1 is fully in force, and what that means is automated logging, ongoing monitoring, and real-time alerting are no longer just best practices for the ultra-paranoid. They are mandatory requirements across the board. The standard now expects your security to be every bit as dynamic and continuous as the digital threats you face every single day. So, the days of the compliance checkbox, filling out a form once a year and letting it gather cobwebs in a drawer, those days are completely over. The truly successful enterprise today adopts continuous engineering. This means treating your payment infrastructure as a living, breathing part of your overall software ecosystem. When you update your storefront, you tune your fraud rules. When traffic spikes, your automated monitoring scales right along with it. Which leads us to our final section, Section 4, future-proofing your stack and reducing your risk surface. When expert technology partners like Softwin audit hundreds of enterprise systems, a very clear pattern emerges between the companies that struggle and the companies that completely dominate their markets. I really want you to absorb this insight. Secure payment systems aren't a separate problem from growth, they're part of the same problem. The enterprise leaders who unify their security, their compliance, and their conversion into one single automated system are the ones who scale flawlessly. They view a secure, frictionless checkout as their ultimate competitive advantage. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Take a hard look at your current setup. Is it slowing you down? Are you losing sales to clunky interfaces and false fraud declines? Or is it an invisible, frictionless growth engine powering your company forward? It might just be time to start treating checkout like the most critical digital experience you offer. We highly invite you to connect with expert technology partners like Softwin to ensure your digital experiences are genuinely future-ready. Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer, and we will see you next time.